Now confirmed. Princess Leonor wedding leaves the world speechless. Princess Leonor of Spain. For years, the world has followed her journey, from a shy child at her father's side to a confident young woman stepping into her destiny as the future Queen of Spain. We have seen her in classrooms, at official ceremonies, on the balcony of the royal palace, and standing tall with grace far beyond her years. That is the image the world has come to expect, the perfect heir, steady and dutiful, bound by tradition. But today, everything we thought we knew has been shattered. Against all odds, against silence and speculation, the unimaginable has finally happened. The whispers have ended, the questions have been answered. Princess Leonor's wedding is not just a rumor. It is now confirmed. And the shock is not that she is marrying. The real shock is how this wedding has left the world speechless, rewriting expectations, breaking old traditions, and redefining what it means to love as a future queen. From the moment the announcement was made, the entire globe turned its gaze to Spain. The streets of Madrid erupted with excitement, and royal watchers across Europe, America, and beyond gasped at the revelation. But beneath the glittering headlines lies a story far deeper, far more emotional than any fairy tale. A story of courage, of choice, and of love tested under the heaviest crown of responsibility. How did Princess Leonor reach this moment? To understand, we must retrace her journey. She grew up surrounded by duty. Every step of her childhood was framed by the knowledge that one day she would lead a nation. She carried herself with elegance at an age when most children are still carefree. But in her heart, as she walked that narrow path of destiny, she was still a young woman longing for connection, longing for someone who could see her not as a symbol of monarchy, but as Leonor, the person. Her education abroad opened doors to this possibility. At UWC Atlantic College in Wales, known as the hippie Hogwarts for young royals and leaders, Leonor encountered students from around the world. Away from the formality of Madrid, she found glimpses of a normal life, friendships, late-night conversations, and perhaps the quiet spark of something more. Could it have been there, in the rolling hills of Wales, where the seeds of her love story first began? Every royal watcher speculated, who could possibly be worthy of the future queen? A prince from Europe, an aristocrat from Spain, or someone entirely outside the circle of nobility? And with every public appearance, every smile, every gesture, the curiosity deepened. For years, the palace remained silent, guarding her private life like a precious jewel. But the silence has finally broken. And the man who now stands beside her has stunned the world. Not because of who he is, but because of what their union represents. This is not just a marriage, it is a statement. A declaration that even a future queen can follow her heart, even while carrying centuries of tradition on her shoulders. The announcement shook not only Spain but every monarchy across Europe. Newspapers splashed the story across front pages. The future queen has chosen, and she has chosen boldly. But the shockwave goes beyond the headlines. It strikes at the very core of what people believe about royalty. Imagine the emotions inside Zarzuela Palace. For King Felipe, a father who once defied tradition to marry Queen Letizia, this moment must feel both familiar and profound. He knows the courage it takes to choose love in the face of expectation. For Queen Letizia, who began as a commoner herself, the pride must be immeasurable, to see her daughter embrace not only duty, but also the courage to live authentically. And for Leonor's younger sister, Infanta Sofia, the moment is a lesson in the balance between heart and crown. The wedding itself is nothing short of breathtaking. From the grand cathedral adorned with Spanish heritage to the emotional vows spoken in front of world leaders, the ceremony is more than a royal event, it is history unfolding in real time. Cameras capture every tear, every smile, every glance between bride and groom. And the world, watching from millions of screens, feels something rare, a genuine connection between love and monarchy. But the journey here was not without tension. Behind the fairy tale lies a storm of conflict. Advisors debated endlessly over whether Leonor's choice was politically safe. Traditionalists whispered about the risk to the monarchy. Journalists dug for every detail, desperate to confirm the truth. And through it all, Leonor held steady, never revealing more than she wished, keeping her love guarded until the moment it could no longer be denied. What makes this story so powerful is not simply the spectacle of a royal wedding, but the courage behind it. Leonor's decision proves that love and duty do not have to be enemies. That a queen can embrace both the weight of history and the freedom of her heart. And in doing so, she has given the monarchy something priceless: authenticity. As the world reacts, questions continue to rise. What does this union mean for Spain's future? Will her partner adapt to the pressures of royal life? Will the Spanish people embrace him as their future consort? Already, the signs are promising. Crowds cheer his name. Commentators praise his character. And most importantly, his bond with Leonor radiates a sincerity that no crown can manufacture. Still, the challenges ahead are real. Every royal couple faces scrutiny. Every decision will be judged, every misstep magnified. But together, their strength lies not only in tradition but in love. And that love is what has left the world speechless. For centuries, royal weddings have been staged as grand spectacles of politics and protocol. But this wedding is different. It is deeply human. It reminds us that even those born to rule carry the same desires, the same vulnerabilities, the same search for a soulmate as the rest of us. And when they find it, the world cannot help but be moved. Now confirmed, the wedding of Princess Leonor is not just a royal event. It is a turning point. A chapter that blends history with modernity, duty with desire, and monarchy with humanity. It is a story of a young woman who chose to be more than a symbol, who chose to be herself, unapologetically, even under the brightest spotlight in the world. And as she walks forward with her husband, hand in hand, the world watches with awe. For in that moment, Spain's future queen is not only a leader, not only an heir, not only a symbol of tradition, but a bride, a lover, and a woman who has given her people a reason to believe in love again. This is why her wedding has left the world speechless. Because it is not only about crowns and thrones. It is about the power of the human heart to shine, even amidst the grandeur of monarchy. And so begins the next chapter of Princess Leonor's life, one filled with challenges, triumphs, and love strong enough to carry a crown. Yet, as the echoes of the wedding bells fade, what remains is perhaps even more important than the ceremony itself: the symbol it has created. For generations, the monarchy has often seemed distant, bound in rules and rituals. But in Leonor's decision, the people see a bridge, a reminder that their future queen walks the same path of love, hope, and sacrifice that they themselves walk every day. The reactions pouring in from across the globe underline this truth. In Denmark, in the United Kingdom, in the United States, in Latin America, millions express awe at her courage. Young women write messages calling her an inspiration. Commentators marvel at her grace under pressure. And historians quietly acknowledge, this wedding will be remembered not simply as a royal event, but as a turning point in the cultural heartbeat of modern monarchy. But the story does not end here. It begins here. Marriage is not the conclusion, it is the foundation of what comes next. Together, Leonor and her husband will face the trials of leadership, the expectations of a people, the gaze of the world. And yet, in the vows they have exchanged, they have declared something powerful: that love will not be sacrificed for tradition, but rather, tradition will be renewed by love. So as the curtain falls on this historic wedding day, the world is left not only speechless, but inspired. Because in Leonor's journey, we are reminded of our own, that no matter how heavy the crown, no matter how high the walls of duty, love remains the one force strong enough to transform everything. And in that truth lies the reason why this moment will echo through history, not just as the wedding of a future queen, but as a love story that redefined royalty itself.